Emma Carter never believed in second chances, especially not when it came to love. At 32, she'd built a quiet, steady life in Charleston, running a small floral shop and tending to her circle of close friends. The last time she let her guard down, it nearly destroyed her. That was 5 years ago with Daniel Hayes. They met in college. Fell fast, fell hard. Everyone thought they were forever kind. Until the night she caught him in a lie. A woman's name on his phone. A string of half-truths unraveling into something uglier. Betrayal. Emma walked away without looking back. And Daniel didn't chase her. Time passed. People healed, or at least pretended to. But life had its strange ways. On a rainy Thursday afternoon, Daniel walked into her flower shop. Older, leaner, a little more worn around the eyes. Emma, his voice was low, uncertain. She froze. Daniel, what are you doing here? I'm not here to make things hard, he said quickly. I wanted to say I'm sorry. I never really did. I don't expect anything from you. I just needed to say it to your face. The sincerity in his eyes felt different, calmer. No charm, no games, just real. Emma felt the bitterness she'd carried for years rise in her chest. But instead of choking her, it dissolved into something unexpected. Curiosity. Why now? She asked. He hesitated. Because I spent 5 years hating the man I was. I kept blaming you for walking away. But it wasn't your fault. I broke us. I broke your trust. And I've lived with that regret every single day. Over the next weeks, Daniel became present. He didn't beg. He didn't flirt. He just showed up, buying flowers for his sick neighbor, helping Emma fix a busted delivery van when no one else could, asking about her day without expecting more. It wasn't love. Not yet. It wasn't forgiveness either. But it was a start. One evening, after closing the shop, Emma found Daniel waiting outside, soaked from the rain, holding a single white lily. I know I don't deserve a second chance, he said softly, but if you can find it in you to forgive me, not to forget, but to forgive, I want to prove I'm not the man who hurt you. Emma stared at him, her heart a mess of old scars and fragile hope. I'm not the same woman I was either, she whispered. A long silence hung between them. The storm raged around them, but something steadier filled the space, a quiet understanding. She took the lily from his hand. I'm willing to find out who we both become. 2 years later, Emma stood in her shop on the morning of her wedding. Not every betrayal ends in heartbreak. Some end in hard conversations, slow rebuilding, and the courage to believe in love again. Forgiveness hadn't erased the past, but it gave them a future. Forgiveness isn't a single moment. It's 1,000 small decisions every single day. That's what Emma learned. She didn't fall back into Daniel's arms. She didn't let him pick up where they left off. Instead, they started from nothing, like two strangers who knew each other's deepest wounds. Coffee on quiet mornings, long walks with awkward silences, conversations that avoided the past until they didn't. One night, over cheap Chinese takeout, Daniel broke the unspoken rule. I never loved her. His voice was hoarse. That other woman, it wasn't even about her. It was me, my pride, my stupidity. I didn't know how to handle real love, and I threw it away before you could leave me first. Emma set down her chopsticks. The honesty felt like a punch and a bomb. She met his eyes. And now, Daniel swallowed. Now I know love's not about keeping score or being perfect. It's about showing up even when you're scared. Emma's heart trembled, not because she believed him blindly, but because for the first time his words felt earned. They had setbacks. The first time Daniel canceled dinner to work late, Emma's chest tightened with old fears. The first time she pulled away from a kiss, Daniel's face darkened with quiet hurt. They fought. They misunderstood each other. But they talked. They didn't slam doors or walk away. And little by little, Emma began to realize trust wasn't about forgetting betrayal. It was about building something stronger on top of it. On their first anniversary as friends? Something more? Emma wasn't sure yet. Daniel handed her a letter. Handwritten. Ink smudged at the corners. Emma, I won't ask you to love me again. I won't ask you to forget the past. All I ask is for the chance to love you better every day we share. However many days you'll let me. I'm not the man you fell for. I'm better because you taught me how to be. Tears slipped down Emma's cheeks. Not because it was perfect, but because it wasn't. And that's what made it real. It wasn't a fairy tale. It was stolen glances at sunset, laughter after a bad day, silent support when words fell short. It was Daniel showing up to her shop with lunch when she forgot to eat, Emma surprising him at work with coffee on late nights. It was forgiveness in motion, standing before him on their wedding day. Emma felt the full weight of their journey. I forgave you, she whispered, and I chose us because love isn't about never falling. It's about getting up together. Daniel smiled, eyes shimmering. I'll spend every day proving you were right, too. This wasn't a second chance at love. It was a first chance at the love they'd never known how to build the first time. 6 months after Emma let Daniel back into her life, things were good. Not perfect, but good. They'd settled into a rhythm. Dinners together twice a week, Sunday morning walks, little moments that felt easy. But real love isn't tested in the easy moments. It was a rainy Friday night when the cracks reappeared. Emma was closing the shop when her friend Olivia stormed in, eyes wide. Emma, I saw Daniel tonight. He was at Harbor Lounge with a woman. Emma froze. Her heart didn't shatter. It didn't even race. It just sank. Old wounds whispered, see? You're a fool. But Emma wasn't that same broken woman anymore. Did you talk to him? She asked quietly. No. I want to stir things up. Emma nodded, thanked Olivia, locked up the shop, and went straight to Harbor Lounge. She spotted him at the bar, sitting across from a woman in a sharp blazer, laughing, leaning forward. Every instinct told her to turn around, to let the worst swallow her. But she walked forward. Daniel. He looked up. The moment his eyes met hers, something inside her stilled. Emma, he stood, face open. This is Claire, from the bank. We're finalizing the loan papers for the community center project. Claire smiled warm and easy. You must be Emma. Daniel talks about you all the time. Says you're the strongest woman he knows. Emma blinked. For a long moment, all three stood there. Then Daniel added, I should have called. I didn't want you wondering like before. On the drive home, Emma stared at the windshield wipers beating against the glass. Daniel reached over, taking her hand gently. I meant it when I said I'm not that man anymore, he said, and I know I'll have to keep proving it for as long as it takes. Emma squeezed his hand back. It's not about proving, she whispered. It's about trusting that we can talk before the fear talks for us. That night, curled up beside him, Emma realized something. Forgiveness wasn't a gift she gave once. It was a choice she kept making. Every time fear knocked on the door, every time old scars flared, every time Daniel showed up instead of walking away. A year later, standing at the altar, Emma wasn't marrying the man who betrayed her. She was marrying the man who faced that betrayal, owned it, fought for her, grew beside her, and she married herself too. The woman who learned that forgiveness isn't weakness. It's strength in its purest form. Because real love doesn't erase the past. It redeems it. Years later, Emma would often look at Daniel across the dinner table, his head bent over paperwork, his soft smile when he caught her watching, and think about how close they came to losing everything. Forgiveness hadn't erased the hurt, but it had rewritten the ending. They built a life from small acts of love, from conversations they once avoided, from fights they didn't walk away from showing up over and over, until fear no longer stood between them. One evening, as they watched the sunset on their porch, Daniel reached for her hand. I'm not perfect, he said quietly. I never wanted perfect. Emma whispered back. I wanted you, the man who fought for us, and never stopped choosing me. He kissed her knuckles, his eyes reflecting the fading gold of the sky. They weren't a story of betrayal anymore. They were a story of grace, of love that was tested and triumphed. Because sometimes the bravest thing isn't falling in love. It's giving it a second chance.